You pray for money, you visualize prosperity, you affirm abundance, and then you wait. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and still nothing changes. Your bank account remains stagnant, your bills continue mounting, and deep in your heart, a question begins to form. Did God not hear me? Am I not worthy? Should I just be patient? Here is the truth that will shatter everything you thought you knew about prayer. Waiting for God to answer your prayer is the very mechanism blocking the answer from arriving. Joseph Murphy, the father of subconscious mind mastery, devoted an entire teaching to what he called the error of Job. And it reveals why 99% of prayers for wealth fail before they even begin. The problem is not your faith. The problem is what you have been taught faith means. Today, we decode the metaphysical secret hidden in the book of Job. We expose the dangerous lie that suffering demonstrates holiness, and we reveal the ancient Hebrew command that turns prayer from begging into decree. This is not philosophy. This is the technology of manifestation used by every biblical patriarch who ever commanded prosperity into existence. Let us begin with brutal honesty. You have been conditioned to believe that waiting demonstrates faith, that patience proves worthiness, that God tests the righteous through prolonged suffering. This belief is killing your prosperity, not slowly, immediately. Joseph Murphy studied the book of Job for decades. He recognized something that most religious teachers miss entirely. Job's story is not a celebration of patient suffering. It is a warning against the consciousness of victimhood. When Job declares, "The thing I greatly feared has come upon me," he reveals the fundamental law that governs all manifestation. Fear attracts its object. Expectation of loss creates loss. Waiting implies doubt. Every moment you spend waiting for money to arrive, you are mentally separated from it. You are affirming its absence. You are declaring to your subconscious mind that wealth exists somewhere else, sometime later, belonging to someone else. And your subconscious mind, which cannot distinguish between mental experience and physical reality, begins constructing a world that matches this conviction. William James, the father of American psychology, understood this principle from a scientific perspective. He taught that belief creates the actual fact, not eventually, immediately. The mental state of waiting contains within itself the seed of perpetual delay. You cannot wait yourself into wealth any more than you can doubt yourself into health. Consider your current financial reality, the frustration you feel when bills arrive, the anxiety that grips you when you check your account balance, the shame that surfaces when you compare your life to others. These emotions are not reactions to poverty. They are the very frequency that generates and sustains poverty. You have been praying from the consciousness of lack, and the universe, governed by immutable mental laws, has been faithfully delivering more lack. Joseph Murphy called this the vacuum law. Before you can receive abundance, you must first create the mental space for it. And you cannot create space while simultaneously clinging to fear. The error of Job was not his suffering, it was his identification with suffering. He spoke his fear until it became flesh. He affirmed his unworthiness until circumstances confirmed it. The metaphysical truth is this: God does not withhold. You withhold from yourself through the beliefs you entertain. Every prayer that begins with "please" contains within it the assumption of separation. Every affirmation that ends with "someday" pushes manifestation into an eternally receding future. You have been taught to beg, but begging is the language of slaves, and slaves do not inherit kingdoms. Joseph Murphy traveled extensively throughout the Middle East, studying ancient Hebrew texts in their original language. What he discovered revolutionized his entire understanding of biblical prayer. The Hebrew word for faith, Emuna, does not mean hope. It does not mean wishful thinking. It does not mean patient waiting. Emuna means firmness, certainty, unshakable conviction. It is the mental state of already possessing what you desire. In his masterwork, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, Murphy tells the story of a businessman who came to him desperate for financial breakthrough. This man had prayed for years. He had tithed faithfully. He had served his church. Yet poverty pursued him relentlessly. Murphy asked him one question. When you pray for money, do you feel like a wealthy man or a poor man begging? The businessman confessed he felt like a beggar. And there, Murphy explained, was the entire problem. Murphy instructed him to stop praying entirely. Instead, he was to spend 15 minutes each night feeling the exact emotion he would experience if a check for $10,000 arrived in the mail tomorrow, not imagining the check, not visualizing the check, feeling the relief, the gratitude, the expansion. The businessman resisted at first. It felt arrogant, presumptuous, almost blasphemous. But Murphy reminded him of Job chapter 22, verse 28. Thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee. Not request, not beg, not hope. Decree. To decree is to command. It is to speak from the consciousness of authority. It is to recognize that the creative power of the universe flows through your mind, not from some distant throne requiring appeasement. The businessman committed to the practice. Within 3 weeks, an unexpected business opportunity materialized. Within 3 months, he had earned $47,000 from a source that did not even exist when he began the mental discipline. Murphy emphasized this was not luck. It was law. The same law that governs the growth of seeds governs the manifestation of wealth. You do not beg the soil to grow crops. You plant with confidence and reap with certainty. Neville Goddard, Murphy's contemporary and fellow metaphysical teacher, expressed this same truth with startling clarity. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and observe the route that your attention follows. The word assume comes from the Latin assumere, meaning to take up or adopt. You must take up the mental state of wealth before wealth can take form in your world. This is not positive thinking. This is assuming the consciousness of the thing desired until the subconscious mind accepts it as fact and projects it as experience. The error of Job was assuming the consciousness of affliction. He spoke his fear. He meditated on his loss. He rehearsed his unworthiness, and the law, impersonal and precise, manifested his dominant mental conviction. But the moment Job changed his consciousness, the moment he decreed restoration instead of lamenting destruction, his fortunes reversed immediately, not gradually, immediately. Now we arrive at the engine of transformation. Why does commanding work where begging fails? The answer lies in the structure of your subconscious mind. Joseph Murphy dedicated his life to teaching one central principle. Your subconscious mind accepts as true whatever your conscious mind impresses upon it with feeling and conviction. It does not evaluate, it does not judge, it does not question, it simply executes. When you beg, you impress upon your subconscious the image of yourself as lacking, as powerless, as dependent on external forces beyond your control. Your subconscious, faithful servant that it is, proceeds to generate experiences that confirm this self-image. It arranges circumstances to match your dominant mental state. You remain poor not because God withholds, but because you have commanded poverty through the consciousness of insufficiency. When you decree, you impress upon your subconscious the image of yourself as creator, as authority, as heir to infinite abundance. You speak from the end, you feel from the fulfillment. You think from the having, and your subconscious, incapable of distinguishing between lived experience and vividly imagined experience, begins rearranging your external world to match this new conviction. Sigmund Freud, though he approached consciousness from a different angle, recognized this same principle. He understood that the unconscious mind governs behavior far more powerfully than conscious intention. What Murphy added to this insight was the spiritual dimension. The subconscious is not merely a storage facility for repressed memories. It is the connecting link between individual mind and infinite intelligence. It is the creative medium through which thought becomes thing. The Apostle Paul understood this perfectly when he wrote in Romans 4, verse 17, that God calleth those things which be not as though they were. This is not metaphor. This is instruction. You must call yourself wealthy before the bank account reflects wealth. You must feel yourself healthy before the body manifests health. You must assume yourself loved before relationships confirm love. This is the pattern of all creation. Consider the difference psychologically between, please God, send me money, and I decree financial abundance flows to me now. The first statement positions you as separate from the source, hoping for intervention. The second statement positions you as the channel through which the source expresses. The first implies doubt. The second assumes certainty. The first projects fulfillment into an uncertain future. The second claims fulfillment in the eternal now. William James taught that action follows belief. But Murphy took this further. He demonstrated that feeling precedes belief, and belief precedes manifestation. You cannot act your way into wealth while feeling poor, but you can feel your way into wealth, and the actions will follow automatically. The subconscious will guide you to opportunities. It will inspire ideas. It will orchestrate meetings and circumstances that conscious effort alone could never arrange. This is why affirmations fail for most people. They repeat words without feeling. They declare prosperity while feeling panic. They affirm abundance while their stomach churns with anxiety. The subconscious registers only the feeling, and feelings of fear, regardless of the words used, command more fear into manifestation. Murphy called this mental malpractice. Speaking one thing while feeling another produces confusion, delay, and frustration. Let us bring this ancient wisdom into your immediate financial reality. Right now, you carry within your mind a collection of beliefs about money. Most of them were installed before you were 7 years old. Your parents' arguments about bills, your teachers' warnings about scarcity, your church's sermons about the virtue of poverty. These beliefs operate like programs running in the background of your consciousness, and they govern your financial results with absolute precision. Joseph Murphy taught a practice he called the absolute method. It begins with identifying the negative belief, the mental block that contradicts your desire. For most people struggling financially, the block sounds something like this. Money is hard to get. I'm not smart enough. I do not deserve wealth. Rich people are greedy. I will lose it anyway. Once you identify the belief, you do not fight it. Fighting strengthens resistance. Instead, you dissolve it through substitution. You write the opposite truth in clear, present tense language. Money flows to me easily and continuously. I am a magnet for financial opportunity. Infinite intelligence guides me to prosperity. I am a child of the universe, and abundance is my birthright. Then comes the critical step. You saturate this new belief with emotion. Murphy insisted that feeling is the secret. You must feel wealthy while affirming wealth. You must experience the relief, the freedom, the expansion that money provides. Spend 10 minutes each morning and evening in this mental state, not hoping for it, not wishing for it, living in it. Your subconscious cannot resist a belief backed by consistent emotional conviction. Modern neuroscience confirms what Murphy taught decades ago. Studies on neuroplasticity demonstrate that repeated mental states create new neural pathways. When you consistently feel wealthy, your brain begins forming the neural architecture of a wealthy person. Your perception shifts. You notice opportunities previously invisible. You make decisions from abundance rather than scarcity. Your entire behavioral pattern reorganizes around the new dominant feeling. But here is where most people fail. They practice the mental discipline for 3 days, see no immediate change, and return to the old consciousness of lack. Murphy warned against this repeatedly. The subconscious requires time to outpicture the new impression. A seed planted today does not become a tree tomorrow, but the tree is already present in the seed. Your wealth is already present in your consciousness. The only question is whether you will maintain the mental state long enough for it to harden into form. The vacuum law Murphy taught operates on a simple principle. You cannot pour new wine into old vessels. Before abundance can enter your life, you must first empty your mind of the fear of poverty. This does not mean ignoring bills. It means refusing to give them emotional power. Pay what you owe from a state of calm authority, not anxious desperation. Acknowledge current circumstances without identifying with them. You are not your bank balance. You are the consciousness that creates bank balances. Apply this immediately. Tonight before sleep, practice Murphy's technique. Relax your body completely. Close your eyes. Feel yourself opening an envelope containing a check for exactly the amount you need. Feel the paper in your hands. See the numbers. Experience the wave of relief washing through your chest. Hold this feeling for as long as possible. Then release it to your subconscious with gratitude, knowing the law is now working on your behalf. Do this every night for 30 days, without exception. Record what happens. We have journeyed through the metaphysical mechanics of manifestation. We have exposed the error of Job, the false belief that waiting demonstrates faith, when in reality, waiting perpetuates lack. We have learned that biblical faith, Emuna, is not hope, but certainty. Not request, but decree. Not begging, but commanding. The resolution is clear. You must shift your identity from beggar to heir, from victim to creator, from one who asks permission to one who claims inheritance. Joseph Murphy spent his life teaching this singular truth. You are not separate from infinite intelligence. You are the point through which it expresses. Your thoughts are creative. Your feelings are magnetic. Your dominant mental state is the mold into which universal substance pours itself. This is not arrogance. This is recognizing the Christ principle within you. The same creative power that spoke worlds into existence operates through your consciousness when properly directed. Jesus himself said, "Greater works than these shall ye do." Not might do, shall do. Because the power is not in the personality, it is in the principle. And the principle is available to all who understand and apply it. The practical conclusion is equally clear. Stop waiting. Start decreeing. Cease begging. Begin commanding. Release the consciousness of poverty. Assume the consciousness of abundance. Spend more time feeling wealthy in imagination than worrying about bills in reality. Your subconscious will faithfully manifest whichever state receives your sustained attention and emotional investment. If you have found value in this teaching, if you feel the ancient truth awakening in your spirit, then join this community of conscious creators. Subscribe to Joseph Murphy Decoded. Every video we release is designed to dissolve one more layer of limitation and reveal one more dimension of your creative power. We are not here to entertain. We are here to transform, to decode the metaphysical principles that govern prosperity, health, relationships, and spiritual awakening. Comment below and tell us, what is the one limiting belief about money you are ready to release? What new decree will you speak over your finances starting tonight? Share your commitment. Your declaration strengthens not only your own faith, but contributes to the collective consciousness of abundance we are building together. And remember the words Joseph Murphy left as his legacy to all seekers of truth. You are the captain of your soul, the master of your fate. Your subconscious mind is like soil that accepts any seed you plant. Plant the seeds of wealth, and wealth you shall reap. Decree your prosperity now. The universe is listening, and so it is.